in order to standardize and grow, you got to standardize on something. Growth requires some semblance of standardization. And so what Jackson was saying a little bit earlier is that standardization is not on the product, but it's on the process. And within the software, that process standardization, whether it's window type A or window type B, it is going through the exact same workflow and the same learning. But that standardization ends up now having a foundation for our clients to understand and grow. And if you just standardize, that's not enough. You just can't, okay, now you can standardize in your process. The key here, I would argue, when you think about SaaS implementations, success rate with SaaS ERP implementations more specifically is somewhere between 30 and 40%. Most fail. And so the issue in that failure, I've done some examples and said, people ask me, so how long does it take to get implemented in this? And I've heard people kind of chat with me about that. And I said, okay, let me give you a story. I got a 60-person firm in the ETO industry that's, they got up to speed in about 90 days, 0 to 90. I got another firm that's about the exact same size. They've still been doing it for 3 years. And what I did was I gave the great software to the 60-day firm, the 90-day firm, and I gave the really crappy software to the one that's still working on it 3 years later. And people typically laugh at that point in time, and they recognize the variable of control. The one that you want to pull and lever is the change management within the organization. So to your question, Jeff, is how do we make sure that these nods, this conversation, this response that you saw me having with Jackson, it's about the education. So yeah, the tool is there. It's like a table saw or a CNC that's in the shop or a belt sander or a backhoe. It's just a tool. Without it being integrated to the business process, what we're doing, without having education in place to help that tool be highly productive, I think ERP systems end up falling short. And so one of the things that we end up doing is putting that software and education together. We have a learning management system that we bring to bear. We have that learning management system. Jackson can absolutely customize it for all his people. And so think about the whole onboarding process and going to Energy University, not only for learning the software and the workflow and the SOPs within his organization that are now documented, but even to the onboarding otherwise. So if there's a certain way that paint needs to be removed on some of these restored windows, he can easily take a video, pop that into our system, our learning management system, and now he has that forever. And so this friction that happens with getting people into our organizations that are successful on day one or really productive on week 3 and 4, we're trying to take that friction away, and we spend a lot of time on the educational component of our value proposition, Jeff.
Oh, that's so powerful, because I've been preaching time to value, time to value, time to value. It is one of the biggest problems with most implementations is the time to value is too long. And that is usually because, look, you bought the software, Jackson, because it's going to change your business, not because you wanted to add users and load data. That's the boring part. Let's get to the usable part. And man, I love mixing it together with a learning management system, Mark. That's a powerful business case for it. And ultimately, looking for that frictionless onboarding is obviously the wave of the future, and SaaS allows us to do that. That's one of those beautiful things, right? That switching over to that allows us to do. But man, so many people are afraid to say change management. And if I had to pick currently the number one problem in construction technology adoption and applying it, it's change management.